My peoples, my peoples. Welcome to another episode of Boxing for Breakfast, where you get your healthy dosage of sweet science early in the morning. Y'all know what we're doing now. You guys know how I get down. We talking boxing. Had some good fights this weekend, and y'all know we're gonna address it. Jay Smith in the building. Salute to everybody tuning in. Toy Mafia, Side. What's the deal, my peoples? Underrated Will. Good morning, everyone. And Jay Smith. My peoples, some interesting fights took place this Saturday. And I want to kick this thing off with Edwin de los Santos, who finally made his return. You guys know that we had not seen De Los Santos since he lost to Shakur Stevenson. So he experienced some inactivity. He was supposed to fight Keyshawn Davis for his title in the 135 division. We know what happened there. Keyshawn didn't make weight. They didn't make the fight. And he had to stay inactive for a bit longer. Finally, back in the ring this Saturday. The Hydro Brian, good morning, my brother. Now, De Los Santos got kind of like a tune-up fight. You know, this is not a world caliber type of opponent. And we already know the level that Edwin de los Santos is on. Man, I was watching this fight, and he made easy work of his opponent. First round stoppage. You could see that De Los Santos was out there looking to dominate and make quick work of his opponent. And that's what's supposed to happen, right? If you're coming back to do a tune-up and they give you an easy opponent, you're supposed to get him out of there quick. So he did exactly what he was supposed to do. Congratulations to Edwin de los Santos. Salute, got the W, my Dominican brother. Yes, sir. So you can expect De Los Santos to be competing. Maybe his very next fight, you'll see him competing at a very high level. Again, the opponent that he beat wasn't a world caliber type of fighter. He did what he was supposed to do. There you have it. Edwin de los Santos, another W for the record, my peoples. Now, we're going to have to get into the controversy. Controversy went down that a lot of you may not even know about, my people. Some controversy, my peoples. Gonna have to talk about it. Whoa. Very, very controversial moment. Controversial decision. And let me clarify for you. Erik Mini-Pacman Rosa. Former world champion Erik Mini-Pacman Rosa took his first loss in Japan 5-6 months ago. Prior to that, he was a world champion. So we have a world champion from the Dominican Republic, former world champion, because he took a loss in his last fight, and he was... Well, he came back versus an opponent that none of us know, none of us is familiar with. And my peoples, controversial scorecards, and let me tell you why. Many who were watching the Mexican fighter won. People felt that way. There you have it, my peoples. De La Mora. De La Mora is a young fighter, 18 years old. I had never heard of him, never seen him. And obviously, I was rooting for my Dominican brother, Erik Mini-Pacman, to win this fight. You know, a guy who's a former world champion, who only got one loss on his record, and he's trying to get back to the top. So I figured, okay, they bring in this kid from Mexico, 18 years old. Hasn't taken an L, but I don't think he's going to be able to handle that. Well, it turns out De La Mora was a lot better than a lot of people thought he would be. Right from the beginning, you saw that He was establishing that jab and using his reach advantage. You also saw De La Mora has some real good footwork, some real good movement. And those early rounds, you could see that Mini-Pacman struggled to get to him. And he was taking a lot of punishment trying to get in there. But then in the middle rounds, he started establishing himself more and landing better shots. But throughout the fight, you got the sense that De La Mora was winning. And I hate to say this, my peoples, because remember, I'm Dominican. We're in the Dominican Republic. This fight took place here. So I hate to say this, my peoples, but I'm watching a fight where De La Mora is beating our guy. And the fight finishes. When they say it's unanimous decision, I'm like, damn, because I thought maybe somehow, some way they could get him a draw, right? Fight finishes. They said it's a unanimous decision. I'm like, damn. Yo, listen to this, my peoples. It's a 10-rounder. Two of the judges saw the scorecards 88 to 78. Or 88 to 80, I think it is. 88. Two judges only gave 2 rounds to De La Mora. Which, that's crazy. Like, damn, you only gave him 2 rounds? This guy looked like he was whooping our guy's ass. Okay. Yo, the third judge scored it 90 to 80. He didn't give a single round to this kid. Shit was embarrassing. I'm embarrassed. I wasn't there, but I'm embarrassed, my peoples. That judge should be like fired today. I'd fire that goofball today. He didn't even give this kid 1 round. To show you how crazy this whole scene was. Remember, it happened here in the Dominican Republic, right? When they announced the winner, our guy, the crowd started booing, y'all. The crowd started booing. You're gonna see the video. It's gonna go viral. It's embarrassing. Like, the judges, I don't know what the hell, like, it was crazy. You gotta have balls to give every single round to our guy. Everyone. Bro, please watch the fight. You don't have to take my word for it, my peoples. And trust me, before the fight, I'm rooting for our guy. That's what I'm rooting for. In fact, I had gotten in touch with him before the fight, and I told him I wanted to go there. But we couldn't coordinate in time. It was still Saturday. We were still going back and forth, so I couldn't make it. But I wanted to be there yesterday to support De Los Santos and Erik Mini-Pacman. So it's not like I'm just some hater saying, nah, he lost. I watched the fight, and like I told you guys, man, when that last bell rang, I was hoping maybe they could give him a draw somehow. When I heard unanimous decision, I'm like, damn, he lost, man. This kid got him. Even I'm listening to the cards, and I'm like, okay, 88, 88, 90. Damn, this Mexican kid swept him. And then they said he won. That shit was crazy, my peoples. Crazy. Produced by you a dummy. That's what I read from your line. You is a dummy. Nah, I'm capping. You ain't no dummy, but how you gonna bite his ear off, man? Come on now. How you gonna bite his ear off? Crazy the way this played out. Like, man, you hate to see that happen to anybody. This kid is 18 years old, fought his heart off, You know, fought hard, fought a good fight. He was crying. He was crying, my people. This kid was literally crying after the fight. And you see how you asked me the hydrograph, how the crowd react? Yo, they started booing when they announced that Pac-Man won. They started booing. And on top of that, they started chanting the Mexican kid's name. Yo, somebody picked him up and everything. And they started chanting his name. Produce, does he own a title? Oh yeah, you definitely a dummy. You're a dummy. We don't need you over here. Dummy. Now we know he a dummy. So, again, my peoples, you know, this kid, I felt bad for him. I felt bad just seeing how good he fought. And I walked, you know, out of there. Well, not out of there because I wasn't in the venue, but after I watched that fight, I felt like he won. It felt like everybody in the venue saw Erik Mini-Pacman victory. Let's see what's next for him. Let's see if there's gonna be a rematch to this. Um, man, listen. Honestly, man, I'm so disappointed, and I'm not disappointed in the guy that I want to win not winning, or I'm not disappointed about him getting the win in that fashion. Fighters fight and things happen inside the ring. They play out the way they do. I'm disappointed with the fact that they have judges in there that would do something like this. Yo, 10 rounds to 0? If you watch that fight, you're going to be disgusted. Like, what was that judge watching? What was he doing? He a goofball. I'm going to tell you something. Judges, I believe, need to be a certain age range. If you're past a certain age, you can't be a judge no more. I don't want to hear it. You can't be a judge no more. There's going to be a lot of shit that you're going to miss with your old ass. Now, I'm not saying that this was an old judge. I don't know who the judges were. But whoever scored the fight, 10 rounds to 0, yo, they was either not watching or they incompetent. Incompetent. Easy A figure, judges need to pass exams. You see? Now you coming through with the real deal Holyfield. Judges need to show that I still have the wherewithal to see everything that's happening inside the ring. You can't be no 70-year-old judge. I don't want to hear it. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. They faster than your damn vision. But regardless of that, because I honestly don't know who these judges were, it was nasty work. The Hydro Grind, politics. It was a Sean boxing event, and he's their fighter. I mean, he's their fighter, bro, but damn, they got their judges. And, like, even if you moving pieces to get your guy the W, 10 rounds to none? You gotta be kidding me, bro. After watching that fight? Come on, bro. Yo, in the first round, within about the first 20 seconds, this kid almost knocked him down. With a 1-2. Bang! Almost dropped him. And he heard him. He kept going after him. Bang, 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 bang. So to think that they would score that round to Pac-Man is crazy. As a matter of fact, yo, the broadcasting guy, the guy that was talking over the broadcast, he scored the fight 9 rounds to De La Mora and 1 round to Mini-Pacman. The guy who's talking over the broadcast. He scored it 9-1. So when they read the cards, and they said 8 rounds to 2, 8 rounds to 2, 10 rounds to 0, they thought this kid pitched a shutout. They were like, yeah. Matter of fact, yo, by round number 10, they were saying that Mini-Pacman needed a stoppage. They were like, he needed a stoppage. Without a stoppage, I don't see how he could win this fight. So that's the way the cookie crumbles sometimes, man. It's disappointing. You don't want to see these situations in boxing. I would have at least liked to see some close cards. At least. Give it a draw. But y'all gonna have it like it was a blowout, like Mini-Pacman blew this kid out. Nasty work, my people. That was nasty. Quite brutal. That's the way the cookie crumbles sometimes. That's the way the cookie crumbles, my people. So let me show you, look. This is them right here. That kid is 18 years old, man. And he was crying. Crying, yo. You saw the crowd cheering for him. Somebody lift him up in their shoulders and everything. The judges were saving the home fighter. That's what it looked like. That's exactly what it looked like. And the funny thing about that, and what I don't understand, is like, why these people with these crazy cards, with these crazy decisions, with these crazy... You know how many times I've seen fighters come from another country and they're the ones get gifted the decision? Like, people are like, yo, what these judges doing? They trying to kiss ass over there or something? Why they did that? Given the wrong, like, I don't know. We've seen too many wrong decisions. Person that's supposed to win doesn't win. We've seen a lot of that. And again, man, I feel bad for this kid. If you guys have the opportunity, watch the fight. Watch it yourself. Matter of fact, I can tell you right now, this kid at 18 years old, De La Mora, the way that he performed against a former world champion, it tells me that he's title bound. Keep an eye on him right here. Now, I will say, Mini-Pacman was coming off of a tough loss. Why? He went to Japan and he went to war with his opponent. They was going back and forth, landing bombs on each other. And ultimately, he got hurt, stunned, and stopped. Brutally. Bam, bam, bam. He ate some nasty punches and got stopped in Japan, right? That was only like 4 or 5 months ago. Coming off of a stoppage like that, what should have happened is that they should have put an easy opponent in front of him. I don't know if they underestimated this kid because he only 18 years old. He was unbeaten. Now he got a loss. But they didn't know he was going to come through like that. In that ring, he appeared to have the edge and power, was very good when it came to using that height and that reach advantage. You saw Mini-Pacman eating a lot of punches, trying to get within his own punching range. And now I will give credit to Erik Mini-Pacman because he did, he applied that pressure continuously throughout the fight. So even when you saw him taking shots, he was landing his own shots. He was making them miss and making them pay at times. But still, my peoples, the scorecards was just nasty work. Disgusting. That's the way I would describe it. This kid was putting all type of hands on Mini-Pacman. And one of the scorecards was 10 rounds to 0. One of the judges didn't give him a single round. Man, listen, that motherfucker don't know what the hell he doing out there. What he judging, what he was watching. It was crazy, my people. It was crazy. That's the way the cookie crumbles, though. My peoples. What do you score it, Jay? Bro, I'm going to be honest. I don't even want to say what I score it. Because I saw my guy losing. And I don't even want to tell you how bad he lost, bro, in my eyes. I don't even want to say it, man. All I'm going to say is that the scorecards was nasty, wicked. Wicked. But if you watch it, you score yourself and you're going to see, man. I'm going to put it to you like this, if you watch that fight, watch it. Take your time sometime throughout the day. If you watch that fight, you're going to be upset. That shit going to play with your feelings. When you see at the end the crowd booing, you see this 18-year-old kid crying, you see the crowd chanting his name, yo, man, you're going to want to punch all three of them judges in the mouth. The Hydro Grind, do you see any new promising Dominican talent? Yes. Edwin de los Santos' brother. He fought too. Looked real good, real sharp. And I think he's on, if I'm not, is he on his second fight? Or on his first? I think Edwin de los Santos' brother made his debut, if I'm not mistaken. He looked real good, and he's going to accomplish some things in boxing. Let's see how far he's going to go, but he looks real good, man. He looked real sharp. So, keep an eye on Edwin de los Santos' brother. My people, Shakur Stevenson and Teofimo Lopez, January 31st. Listen, I'm going to show you how the haters operate. So, Edwin de los Santos got a brother? Yes. I think his brother fights at 126 or lower. I'm not sure where his brother fights. Brother's really good. I'm going to show you guys how the hater operate. This is crazy. And this is funny because we see it in the comments every day. John Dixon, salute. When you look at a fighter, the way that you measure that fighter is by his accomplishments, by what he's been able to do, by who he's been able to beat. But if you're a hater, you measure them by their losses or by when they didn't have the best performance. That's why you see Terence Crawford haters over 10 years later still talking about he got wobbled by Gamboa. To me, it's hilarious how people say he got wobbled by Gamboa. Imagine what Canelo's going to do to him. How did that help Canelo? He got wobbled by Gamboa. Imagine what Arrow's going to do when he catches him. How did that help Arrow? So as you understand by now, I hope you do, Gamboa wobbling him over 10 years ago and 100 divisions lower has nothing to do with what's going to happen in a fight in the future. So now we see Shakur Stevenson, Teofimo Lopez. They're going to fight. And what is the line for Shakur Stevenson haters? What is it that they clinging on to? That Teofimo already lost to Cambosis. So in other words, in those people's minds, it's only the undefeated champions. Everybody else, nah, you lost. You ain't no good. Like, you got to be a dummy to have that logic. You're going to measure Teofimo Lopez, one of the best fighters of this generation. You're going to measure his career by his one loss. You got to be a dummy. But you have to do that if you want to find an angle to discredit Shakur. If you don't want to give Shakur his flowers, you don't want to accept his greatness, now you got to discredit Teo. Now Teo is going to be a hype job. Now Teo's not going to be all that. Because that's what happens with Shakur. When he beat him, he turned him into a nobody. Before you know it, they're going to say, nah, Tio ain't nobody. Come on, my people. This is a big, big fight. An important fight. You got to give flowers. You got to give flowers where flowers is due. You can't always be looking for a way to hate. Always looking for a way to say, nah, it's not that big of a win. Tio lost to Cambosis. Like, what are we doing, my people? What is going on where boxing fans just want to find a negative thing to say about a fighter? Like, that's the line for people who want to hate on Shakur. Nah, Tio, he already lost. Huh? God damn, yo. These people only respect undefeated fighters. You're not undefeated. Nah, you lost. The Hydro Grind. What type of fight do you think we'll get? Chess match or a brawl? Look, so I just want to show, look, that's Teofimo Lopez box rack. That's his box rack. Yo, since losing to Camboza, he beat Pedro Campa, beat Sandro Martin, beat former undisputed champion, undefeated Josh Taylor, beat Jermaine Ortiz, beat Steve Claggett, beat undefeated Arnold Barboza Jr., made him look easy. And now he's fighting Shakur Stevenson. This guy has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 wins. And they still talking about Cambozas. You see? That's how you know you're either a hater or you don't know shit about boxing. You need somebody like me to tell you, look, you just don't know shit about boxing. And that's why you measure fighters by their lone loss. You don't know shit about the sport. The Hydro Grind, Jermaine Ortiz and Sandro Martin are suspicious wins. Listen, man, you could say that about anybody and everybody. Anybody and everybody. Look, you a Tank Davis fan. Don't you think that Lamont Roach was a suspicious draw? Come on now. The suspicious wins, you can put that shit on everybody. Literally. You don't think people felt Maidana and Castillo won was suspicious wins for Floyd? You don't think Canelo's win over Lara wasn't suspicious? There's a lot of suspicious wins. That don't change nothing. It's still going to be a W in the box rack. The suspicious win, that just make it a talking point. Doesn't change anything. But at the end of the day, Teofimo Lopez already beat 6 opponents after that L. But if you're a hater, that's all you got to say. I seen people already in the comments that when Teofimo come up, that's the only thing they know how to say. Well, you know, he lost to Cambozas. Huh? What are you talking about? Don't you know that the overwhelming majority of greatest fighters of all time lost a bunch of fights? Some of them got knocked out. Some of them went to sleep. Don't you know that? But that's the thing, my people. That's why folks who've been in the ring, who box, who've been involved with boxing, sometimes have such a different point of view than somebody who just watching boxing on TV and watching it on their phone. And then, you know, people these days with social media, they decide, you know what, I'm an expert. They turn themselves into experts and want to argue with you. Sad. Duran got slept by Hearns. He's still a GOAT, and he got slept brutally. Brutally. He's a GOAT. One of the greatest of all time. And it's not just Duran. You're a lot of people. Look at the beating Larry Holmes gave Ali. That was a nasty beating. Beating of a lifetime. Ali's a GOAT. So, the notion that somebody takes an L and you're going to cling on to that L for every debate about that person is crazy. Think about it. When we talk about Shakur and Teofimo Lopez, we know that these are two of the best of this era, both in their prime. Neither one of them is even 30 years old yet. This is a big, big fight. How do you try to make it a talking point that Teo lost to Cambosos whatever many years ago that was? His lone loss, that's your topic of conversation. You don't know shit about boxing. You need to subscribe to Box Center. Subscribe to Box Center 2.0, which is pinned on the comment there somewhere, so you could get educated. Golf ball. By the way, my people, subscribe to Box Center 2.0. Today, goofiest of the oofiest drops at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. You don't want to miss it. This is the third episode of Goofiest of the Oofiest, my peoples. You want to tune in, only dropping on Box Center 2.0. You are going to be able to see the behind the scenes here. You'll be able to see the behind the scenes. But drops on Box Center 2.0, my peoples. Tune in. Tune in and see what we're doing over there. So look, when it comes to this fight, I don't know who's going to be the favorite, because, damn, you know, it's such a competitive fight. Such a good fight. You have two reigning world champions, Teofimo at 140, Shakur at 135. Fireman. SS hype has to end. Nobody wants another Mayweather. I don't know what you're talking about. Look, you know that you're making a weak argument when you try to talk for other people. Look what you're saying. Nobody wants a Mayweather. It's a weak argument. Why you can't just say what you don't want and what you want? When you try to involve other people with your opinion, right there you're saying, I have a weak argument, so let me involve everybody else. Nobody wants this. It's a weak argument, bro. And you're saying the hype has to end. If you're 28 years old and you're a 3-division champion and you're a unified champion, there's definitely no hype behind that. Zero hype whatsoever. Zero. Exactly. Exactly. People got to speak for themselves. You know, as Jay Stradamus, I'm going to have to express that. It's always a super weak argument when people say, nobody want to see that. Nobody want to. But what are you talking about? Nobody. Just say, why you can't just say, I don't want to see another Mayweather. Say that. See how that sounds. You see, Fireman, when you have a bad opinion, you got to bunch other people in it. So try that, Fireman. Try that sentence. I don't want to see another Mayweather. Put that spotlight on yourself, because you're the one saying it right here. And see how you sound. So, Shakur Stevenson and Teofimo Lopez it's a super fight. I compared this fight to Sugar Ray Leonard and Marvin Hagler. Sugar Ray Leonard and Duran. That's who I compared. Because look at Sugar Ray and Duran when they fought each other. You know, they was in their prime. They was ready. They was both, you know, in an age where you know they was going to perform at the best of their abilities. So now you see Shakur Stevenson, Teofimo Lopez, and it's kind of like the same deal. That's why I highlighted earlier, neither one of these guys is 30 years old yet. Think about that. Shakur Stevenson and Teofimo Lopez are fighting at the perfect time, y'all. It doesn't get more perfect than them fighting now. Side, they won't say I because no one gives an F what they think. They got to make sure to include everyone. Yeah, they try to bring everybody to agree with them. Look, nobody wants to see this. God damn, well, you can't talk for yourself because you got a weak opinion. The Hydrogram. I need to see Teo with the same attitude he used to have. I see him way too calm and zoned off. I want that hype Teo. Oh man, damn the hydro grind. I guess you already looking for the excuses when Shakur beat him. You're already gonna say, "Oh, look, man, T.O. just wasn't the same, man. He just ain't the same no more." You already don't got him the same anymore. God damn, bro. That's it. You already telling us T.O. ain't the same no more. Teofimo Lopez ain't the same no more. Side, Teo performs better as an underdog, which could make this interesting. Look, man, I will say, Teofimo Lopez has already shown us that he's about that smoke, has performed at the highest level, and I expect him and Shakur to be both at their best. I expect it. The hydro grind, mental health is a real thing, bro. No, I agree with you 100%. But what's also a real thing is that everybody go through shit, the hydro grind. You want to kind of place these things on these celebrities to give them a pass, but everybody go through shit, my guy. We all go through it. You don't know what Shakur Stevenson going through in his personal life. You don't know what he dealing with. Noel Jimenez, Tio Lopez drops your cord by the fourth. Drops your cord by the fourth. Drops him or ends the fight by the fourth. Balor Club, Remand Reign will KO him with Superman punch. Oh, just so I. My people, listen. Shakur Stevenson versus Teofimo Lopez is going to be a competitive fight. The notion that somebody's going to get washed, you can forget about that. I'm telling you, my people. Ain't nobody getting washed. Nobody getting washed. We have two elite level fighters. Two that are going to face each other. It's going to be competitive. Hold on, because we got a dummy in the house. Let's get this dummy out of here. Westbrook. Shakur been sparring Bud. I can't see Teal being a threat to him. Look, man, remember, styles make fights. It's all about that. Styles make fights. So, it's going to be an interesting fight. That's all I got to say. You guys know I'm going to make my prediction on Box Center 2.0. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't done so. I'm going to tell you exactly who's going to win, but it's going to be a good fight. Side, who did Tio drop last? I don't know, my brother. That's irrelevant. That's irrelevant and incoherent. It doesn't matter who you drop last. He didn't fight Shakur last, and Shakur didn't fight him last. So it doesn't really matter. The hydro grind, I think both fighters will be cautious for a full 12-round fight with a few snoozes. I mean, I would expect that from you as a bona fide Shakur Stevenson hater. That's what I would expect. You did say that's what was going to be the case with Zepeda. And then after Shakur beat the crap out of Zepeda inside of a phone booth, I think I didn't see you for like 3 days, the hydro grind, before you finally came back. What round was it that you had Zepeda knocking out Shakur, by the way? The hydro grind? Your predictions be fucked up, bro. What round was it? I remember you told me Shakur got the brittle hands, right? I be keeping a mental receipts, the hydro grind. You said Shakur had the brittle hands and he wasn't gonna be able to hold them back. But I can't remember what round you had William Zepeda knocking Shakur out. Refresh my recollection, my G. So let that prediction sizzle in your spirit and try to reevaluate what you're saying is gonna happen. I had Zepeda by decision, sir. Diablo, the hydro grind. You really gonna do it like that, the hydro grind? When you literally told me that Shakur brittle hands and Zepeda's power, you were gonna stop him. Yeah. So, what did you had Zepeda by decision? But you remember what you said at least about Shakur's brittle hands and him not being able to keep Zepeda off of him, and that he was gonna run all night. You remember those things? No running, no Zepeda hands all over Shakur, no W for Zepeda. Nothing that you said was gonna happen in that fight happened like you said. So when you say there's gonna have a few snoozes, just remember about your last Shakur prediction, bro. Everything went left. You didn't say one thing about that fight that went the way you said it would. So I got a feeling this next one is gonna be pretty much the same thing. Nothing you say is gonna play out the way you say it does. Because your prediction is not based on the skill set of the two fighters. It's more based on your dislike for Shakur. Wes Dustin, my son couldn't breathe. He almost died. I resuscitated him myself before the fight. T.O. Sr. Whoa. Side. Yeah, but T.O. Sr., man, he sound like he just straight beat capping. I resuscitated him myself. I haven't picked against Shakur yet. Side. I don't think I ever will until he goes up to 147 or 154. Skip a clipper. Good morning, OG. Do you think Jake Paul got a shot? That's a tough one, bro. That's a tough one. Does Jake Paul have a shot when it comes to beating Anthony Joshua? That's a tough one. I'm going to be honest. The only shot that he has, and we all know about it, the good old puncher's chance. You know, you land a big punch. That could happen. But it's hardly. Matter of fact, man, it's damn near impossible for that punch to land. Damn near impossible. So we say in boxing anything could happen. If he lands the right shot, AJ could go to sleep. Or AJ could get stunned and then get stopped afterwards. But the odds of that happening are highly unlikely. You have to understand the gap in skills in this fight is crazy. And then Anthony Joshua is a lot bigger and a lot stronger than Jake Paul. You're going to see Jake Paul going into this fight feeling like, okay, I'm going to be the faster guy and I'm going to use my speed to offset some of the things that AJ does. You're going to see Jake Paul using the footwork. It's not going to matter. There's levels. And Jake Paul's about to wake up out of his delusion in this fight. The Hydro grind. She couldn't keep Zepeda off of him. Zepeda never respected the power. Shakur won off of counter punches and elite defense, but Zepeda kept going forward. Okay, Zepeda kept going forward. How did that help him? He lost. He lost the fight by unanimous decision. I mean, are you trying to give... I don't know if you want to give Zepeda kudos or I don't know, a cookie. Zepeda lost. He kept going forward. Like, I don't know what you're saying, the Hydro grind. Like, he lost, bro. Easily. The Jake Paul fight, by the way, is 10 rounds. It's a 10-rounder. No, it's an 8-rounder. It's an 8-rounder, and they're going to be wearing 10-ounce gloves. Now, you imagine a championship caliber fighter like Anthony Joshua only having to fight 8 rounds. This guy's been involved with 12 rounders for how many years at this point? Although he knocks people out, they don't go the distance. But 8 rounds, that means you're going to be able to unload on Jake Paul. I'm expecting it to be quite brutal, to say the least. It's not going to be a fun night for Jake Paul. You know how they say, have fun out there, have fun. He's not gonna be having no fun. You can forget about that. Ain't gonna be no fun to be had for Jake Paul. My peoples, let me remind you, goofiest of the oofiest, episode 3 drops today at 6 p.m. Eastern Time, only on Box Center 2.0. Don't miss it, my peoples. Today, we're going to be lit. By the way, you guys know, those of you who haven't tuned in, the hotline is going to be out there. You guys are going to be able to call in, whether you want to trash talk, make a prediction, or just talk boxing. Goofiest of the oofiest, 6 p.m. Eastern Time, my people. Get this work tonight. Get this smoke. My peoples, what's next for the face of boxing? Our Bugger Fight Week. I cannot believe Jake is going through with it. Respect. You got to respect Jake Paul. That's what I've been trying to explain to people. You know, we've been asking him for it. Keep asking him for it. Well, here he is. He's giving it to us. Fight a real boxer. Fight somebody who's not washed up. Fight somebody who got experience. I don't think anyone in here would have ever thought or guessed that Jake Paul would step in the ring with Anthony Joshua in a real fight. I get it if they would have did an exhibition. Cool. I would have told you guys that's a fake fight. It's an exhibition. But a real fight that goes on the box rack, nobody saw that coming. Jake Paul could get knocked out in the first round. First round stoppage. And I'm going to still give him his flowers for having the audacity to step in there with Anthony Joshua. Sorry, did you see Jake Paul say Bud accepted the fight with him, but he went with AJ? I didn't see that. I thought he said that they did not accept the fight. Maybe I'm wrong, but I saw a video where I thought he said that Bud and other people did not accept it, and AJ did. AJ's the one that's not scared. That's what I thought I seen. But, listen, my people. The energy that Terrence Crawford receives, I think is so hilarious. Because, think about this. I got a friend who's a Tank Davis fan. And he always told me that Tank Davis, that he got to respect Tank Davis fighting Jake Paul in that exhibition, because Jake Paul's going to get the bag. So he got to respect it, and we would all do the same thing just like Jake Paul. Cool. But now, if Terrence Crawford is going to get that bag with Jake Paul, he a sellout. Now, Anthony Joshua, for getting that bag with Jake Paul, he a sellout. So, in other words, Tank Davis could get the bag. We would all do the same thing, too. He's getting the bag. He cares about the money. We would do that. But then when it comes to a different fighter getting in there with Jake Paul, oh, why is he doing that? He a sellout. Why would you fight him? I don't understand that. Why the energy always changes when it comes to different fighters. Come on now. I don't understand it. Side, it's the same with butt hater channels. Like Shigo. I don't know who Shigo. That's a butt hater channel? Al Bugger, damn. Bud making Forbes magazine, huh? Okay, Bud. That's awesome. Yo, in the cover of the magazine, whole article about him, all that. The face of boxing, I've been trying to tell people. This guy's all over the world, showing out, getting the royal treatment, being received in red carpets. Daniel Negron, how did Jake Paul went from Tank Davis to Anthony Joshua? A real heavyweight. I don't get it. That's easy. Because with Tank Davis, It was an exhibition fight. In an exhibition fight, he was able to fight a much smaller guy because they don't have to make the same weight. When it was time to make a real fight, he's able to fight a heavyweight because he weighs naturally north of 200 pounds. So he could make that fight. He went from an exhibition with a smaller guy to a real fight with a heavyweight. He can make, see, that's the thing. He can make heavyweight for real. He can't make 135. It's impossible. He could never make Tank Davis weight. So that was an exhibition show. Boxing side, boxing Shigo. Ah, okay. Side, I didn't know they called him like that. Side, Bud and Beterbiev were in the fight the other day. Beterbiev loves Bud. You can tell real fighters recognize real. And it's not just Beterbiev. You see Usyk too. The way he is with Crawford. The Hydro Grind. AJ, a retired boxer. He can do these show fun fights. An undisputed fighter with all the belts should defend those belts against the real fighters waiting in line for a shot. Well, that depends. Because who's going to defend titles if they're moving to another division? Your ass is going to be fighting for vacant titles. That's just the reality. Not to mention, crooked sanctioning bodies, goofball Mauricio Sulaiman trying to rob you of your money. Which, by the way, that still was a topic of conversation throughout the week. Goofball Mauricio Sulaiman and his decision to strip Terence Crawford of that WBC title. Right now, the 160 strap is vacant. And, you know, they're going to make a paper champ. They're going to make a paper champ, and then that paper champ is going to have to fight Canelo for that paper title. So what they want to do is give Canelo that paper title as soon as possible. While we all recognize Terence Crawford as the true 168 champion. So, and I told you guys before, if you don't want to believe it, time is going to show you. You see, sometimes I make predictions, and it doesn't take that much time to see it come to light. You know, these fight outcomes, I'm predicting them sometimes a few months ahead of time, a few weeks. This prediction right here, it could take some months. It could even take a couple of years. But this prediction is going to come true. Ultimately, Mauricio Sulaiman is going to regret stripping Terence Crawford of that title. You're going to see that. The Hydro Grind. Yo, by the way, do you see the Sulaiman is backing Tio's claims? Saying that technically Crawford should not be considered three-time undisputed? I mean, of course, you have to understand, bro. Mauricio Sulaiman doesn't like Terence Crawford. Doesn't like black fighters anyway. Didn't want him to be the champion. Didn't think he could beat Canelo. Was expecting Canelo to knock him out. So all you're gonna hear is from Mauricio Sulaiman is negative shit about Crawford. And if anybody else says some hater shit, he's gonna agree with them. That's like you asking McDonald's if Wendy's got the best fries. McDonald's gonna tell you, nah, man, Wendy's fries ain't shit. Why would you even eat over there? But you asking McDonald's. Underrated Will. On the nose. He hate old black. I feel like. Right in the mouthpiece. Mauricio Sulaiman. And it's funny because right after he did that, it's almost like they felt guilty the next day. No, because we don't discriminate. We support all fighters. We want all fighters to be successful. Man, get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here. You'll be acting like you hate black people. That's how you be acting. You be acting like you want to keep them green belts with the Mexicans. Silas B. Salute, family. Bam. So that's my perception, man. Mauricio Sulaiman is a goofball. And my peoples, remember that I told you this. The champions are bigger than the belts. The champions make the belts. Crawford is bigger than that WBC title, and he's bigger than Mauricio Goofball Sulaiman. That's just a fact. And if you think, no, the belts are bigger, for anybody who thinks that way, I'm going to just ask you, how many times have you paid pay-per-view so you can watch the two belts fighting each other? How many times have you watched videos of the belts? How many videos of Sulaiman have you watched? Or you watch the fighters though, right? The belts, that's an item. That's a physical item that you put on, take off. And the value that the belt has is the value that we give it. If I make the box center belt and all the big names fight for that belt, right away the box center belt becomes bigger than the WBC goofball belt. A title can go from being well respected to being a trinket. Like, we don't give a damn about that shit. The Hydro Grind, it just sucks that he won't have the accomplishments in the history books. No, you're wrong about that, the Hydro Grind. Mauricio Sulaiman cannot take the accomplishment in the history books. You would like to take it away in the history books. That's what you're saying. And notice that you're the one putting it out there. Yo, bro, since Crawford won, I have not heard anybody but you and another Crawford hater say something like that. Who told you it's not going to be in the history book? It's going to be there. Mauricio can't remove it. Mauricio, that's the thing, the Hydro Grind, that, you know, your hate started for Crawford when Errol put the beats on him, but when Canelo beat him up, your hate intensified. So what you do is use the sneak hate. You don't hate straight up because you have to give him credit, right? So you use the sneak hate. What's the sneak hate? Oh, man, damn, too bad he's not going to recognize him. Oh, man, too bad that he's not, he's not defending. People should defend. So the sneak hate is not going to change the history books. Crawford will forever be recognized and accepted as the 168 undisputed champion. It doesn't matter what Mauricio the Goofball Sulaiman think, brother. Come on now. Don't stay mad forever with Crawford. Skip a clip. Skip a clipper. Hydro Grind hates Crawford. Listen, the hate that the Hydro Grind has for Terence Crawford is unique. Because he constantly try to act like he doesn't hate Terence Crawford, but he constantly saying the funniest and weirdest shit. Y'all think about it. How many people have you heard say, oh, man, it's too bad that he's not going to be recognized in the history books? How many people have you really heard say that shit? Besides the Hydro Grind. Ditto. Wearing glasses to hide them. Oh, man, we got a dummy in the building, my peoples. You a dummy. So you went into the comments to say that? Dummy. The Hydro Grind. The people will always recognize Crawford as a 3-time undisputed. That's what I'm saying. No, the Hydro Grind. It's not the people. In the books, he's going to be recognized as 3 times undisputed. That's what you're not understanding. With your hate and your sneak hate, you're already spreading another fake narrative that the history books won't recognize Crawford as undisputed. Who told you this, the Hydro Grind? Why would you try to spread a fake narrative via sneak hate to Terence Crawford? Who told you that? Who lied to you so I could call him a liar right now? They a liar. They lied to you, the Hydro Grind. Who lied to you? Tell me right now. I'm going to call him a liar on this very show. You out here floating fake narratives. Haven't you floated enough fake narratives about Terence Crawford, bro? God damn, B. How many fake narratives are you going to float? Look, I'm going to tell you like this, the Hydro Grind. This fake narrative, you're the one that's starting it because I haven't heard nobody say that. Nobody else besides you I have heard say that. And since Crawford beat Canelo, this channel has seen over at least 20,000 viewers. Not one has said those words, but you, the Hydro Grind. When is the hate for Terrence Crawford gonna end, bro? When are the fake narratives? You floated enough fake narratives about Crawford. That's it. Give him a rest. Daniel Negron, that's a fact. We watch boxers because the belts don't fight. But that ain't nobody watching goofball Mauricio Sulaiman. Who's watching goofball Mauricio videos? Nobody. Ain't nobody watching videos of the belts. The only time we ever see the belts is when a fight is putting them on. That's it. Shaku hands, salute my brother. That's the only time. When a fighter is putting them on, we don't follow the belts. We don't be looking at the belts. The Hydro Grind. You not understanding. Of course I'm not understanding. Your sneak hate is not where you understand it. My boy say, yo, man, too bad. Crawford's not going to be recognized in history as undisputed. But at least the fans are going to recognize him. Man, you hating. And everybody else can see it. You been hating. But at least don't make up fake narratives, bro. Come on. No fake narratives. The Hydro Grind. Let's keep the healthy breakfast going. Hell yeah. Healthy dosage. My people, listen. Supposedly, I'm going to say supposedly, Canelo Alvarez said that he's going to face Terrence, that he wants to face Terrence Crawford in September. That they want to take the month of May off. I think there's some fights set up on May that they don't want to compete with. But that they want to take the month off and get ready and fight Crawford in September. A reporter, or maybe it was a content creator, asked him, Crawford, like, yo, Canelo said this, they want the rematch for September. What do you say about that? And Crawford was like, yo, that's the first time I hear about it. So clearly they're not in any type of negotiations right now to make that rematch. I already told you guys if the rematch happens, it's going to play out the same way that the first fight. The same way. Only the beating could be worse. That can't happen. So it won't be exactly the same way. Crawford might dish out a worse beating on Canelo Alvarez than he did on the first fight. And he already said what the number is. Y'all want a rematch? 100 mils. 100 mils. That's all it's going to take. Shaku hands, shaking my head. He want to be fully rested in that fake narrative. Oh, man. The Hydro Grind went in on that fake narrative. But like, nah, you know the history books, they not going to recognize him as undisputed. But at least the fans will, you know. Huh? Who told the Hydro Grind about the history books not recognizing Crawford as undisputed? Because that's a fake narrative. That's a lie. And he's the one spreading it over here. That's what Terrence Crawford haters do. Spread the fake narratives. Side, Bud took it easy on Canelo. I don't think he'll show him the same mercy the second time around. I don't think he took it easy. I think he played it smart. He was cautious. He was there to win the fight. He didn't want to risk it too much. Did what he had to do. I think for the second time around, we see a more sustained beating like what we saw in round number 9. Shaku hands. Hydra was always a Canelo fan forever, bro. He spent 3 months saying that Canelo was going to knock Crawford out and even make him look easy. After 3 months, what he got? Well, you know, he's not going to be in the history books. And we siding with Mauricio the Goofball Sulaiman. We never sided with sanctioning bodies before. But this time, we got to go against Crawford. The Hydro Grind. I'm not even going to argue. Don't do it, bro. Just let it be. 722. Marine. That's just 1 million, bro. They need to get... Oh, no, wait a minute. That's $1 billion. They need to give Crawford his $100 million if they want the rematch. Side, Bo Mahan to real butt in, making sure he stuck to the game plan. Bo wanted to put pain on Canelo. You saw what he was doing in round number 9. Shaku hands, goofiest of the goofiest Hydra. with the realest hate for Terrence Crawford. No, but you know, I like the hydro grind strategy because he don't straight up hate. He try to act like he giving credit to Terrence Crawford. He sneak hate. So he always finding some negative angle, but trying to put it in a positive way. He'll tell you, nah, you know, Terrence Crawford, he's not gonna be in the history for being undisputed. But the fans, you know, they gonna see him as undisputed. That sneak hate. Second time around will be brutal. That's how I see it. Gonna be a brutal beating. Shackle hands. Yes, MS, he be doing some mental gymnastics too. But you know the mental gymnastics don't work with me. They don't work with me. Come on now. North Star, come on, my people. By the way, hour and a half, and I don't even got 20 likes. Golly, not even 20 likes? That's insane. 722. He's what you call a frenemy. Look, my people. Terrence Crawford, I know he hurt a lot of feelings. I know he hurt a lot of people. I know the hydro grind feelings was really hurt. You know, having to watch him put the beats on Canelo after he said that Canelo was going to knock him out. Yo, the hydro grind, what round you said Canelo was going to knock him out in? Keep it real. Was it like the 8th? The hydro grind. If y'all would listen, you would understand. Sure, buddy. Sure. But we listening on what round do you have Canelo knocking Crawford out in? We listening. I didn't even get to explain. You see? Now you got to explain yourself. Sean Johnson, yo, what's up, champ? Salute, my brother. Just please, the hydro grind, tell us what round you had Canelo knocking Crawford out in. That's all I want to know. Shackle hands, yes. And Mauricio Felix are hurt the most. Golf ball. I told y'all, Mauricio Sulaiman, you know, he thought that Canelo Alvarez was going to knock Terrence Crawford out. He's bringing the green belt back to Mexico, back to where it belongs. And you know, he was just as hurt as the hydro grind when he had to watch that beatdown. You think the hydro grind is hurt? How you think Mauricio Sulaiman felt when he had to watch that fight? Skip a clipper. The hydro grind. You got T.O. by KO. Shackle hands. With that stupid smirk. Look at his face, man. Want to punch him right in the mouth. Right in the kisser. Come on now. The boxing scholar. Tell him, bro. I'm trying to tell him, man. This dude. Look, people don't like to say it. But I'm going to say it because I say the shit that people don't want to say. Mauricio don't like black people, bro. He don't like black people. That's just the reality. Let that shit sizzle in your spirit. Let it sizzle in your spirit, my people. Okay, hold on, because we got a dummy over here that try to get some attention. So let me get this dummy out of here. You a dummy and you're not getting the attention you wanted. Dummy. So I have to keep it real, my people. Mauricio don't like black people. That's it. You couldn't wait to take that title off of Terrence Crawford. That's it. The hydro grind, I've never heard. And I give flowers. When Nello lost, I was here the next day, standing tall. Ooh, I lost 1,000 on that fight, and I'm cool with it. You're not cool with it because you're still hating on Crawford. If you was cool with it, you wouldn't be talking about history won't recognize him as undisputed, but the fans will. You wouldn't be saying that. You wouldn't be down with the sneak hate. Hold on, my peoples. We got another dummy. Another dummy getting blocked. Thought he was going to get attention. Dummy. We getting these dummies out of here, y'all. The Hydra grind. Y'all know I keep it 100. No, you keep it 100, but you don't keep it 100 about your sneak hate for Terrence Crawford. That you don't keep it 100 about. For sure. Shackle Heads sure ain't cool with it. Wilby's comfortable. No, Wilby's. Golly, bro. That name long as hell. Why you gotta do it like that? Wilby. He won't have that job long. Hopefully. Hopefully. But it's hard to see Mauricio Sulaiman being removed from that job because his father was the WBC president and passed it down to his son. They handle that shit like a family business. That shit is a family business. Side, the dummies coming in droves today. Bunch of dummies. Now, listen, my peoples. We used to it already. What happens when you got the hottest morning boxing show out? The show that is buzzing, the show that people talking about it? Yo, you're going to have the haters trying to disrupt. I need you to understand, my peoples. There's already people out there who go in the chat and their only objective is to disrupt the show. They don't want this show to be what it is. It's already what it is. You're not going to be able to change it, goofball. They don't want us to interact the way that we do. So they jump in the chat and start talking about a whole bunch of different shit so we don't do what we do. Will be. Turkey going to have a replacement belt. And the world knows what happens September 12th. I'm going to tell you like this, Wilby, and I said it before. When Mauricio Sulaiman stripped Terrence Crawford of his WBC title, he went like this. Passed the alley-oop to Dana White and another alley-oop to His Excellency Turki Al-Sheikh. You just gave them one of the best recruiting tools that they're going to have for their TKO league. Remember that I told you this. Now you're going to be able to sit down with fighters and tell them, if they did that shit to the face of boxing, if they did that to the guy that just beat Crawford in front of over 40 million people, what you think they're going to do to your ass? You ain't got no name. You're not famous. Nobody know you. What you think they're going to do to you? Gave them the perfect recruiting tool. What do you think is going to happen? TKO League is going in there, Dana, Turkey, Zuffa Boxing, and they're going to pour in millions into boxing. And the process of them becoming popular could have took a really long time. Mauricio Sulaiman just accelerated that process. Fumbled big time. I want you guys to think about this. If you know that Terrence Crawford is not going to defend those titles, you know that he's going to 160. He already expressed what he wants to do. Why not allow him to hold on to that title for another 4 or 5 months, whatever it's going to be, and then he'll vacate himself to go fight at 160? You don't think he earned that type of respect? Okay. But now you're facing the backlash of stripping him. And that backlash includes Crawford saying F the WBC, fans saying F the WBC, and now fans demanding to know what the WBC be doing with all this money. Where's all these fighters that they supposedly giving all this money to? How is Mauricio Sulaiman handling business? And we even backtracking and saying, wait a minute, this is Mauricio Sulaiman. It's all about following the rules. And he had to strip Terence Crawford because of the rules. How come David Benavidez was Canelo's #1 challenger for 2 years? Yet the fight was never mandated. Why Mauricio the goofball Sulaiman didn't tell Canelo, you either fight Benavidez or we're going to have to strip you, buddy? Because Canelo's not black. Canelo's Mexican. He want his Mexican guy to have the belt. So you don't have to fight your mandatory. We're not going to mandate the fight. You got that. That's your belt. You the guy we want to have it. So now you see Terence Crawford got stripped. 2 guys are going to fight for that title. And the winner immediately is going to have to fight Canelo. We can't wait to get that title back to Canelo. Asnoff. Thoughts on Canelo potentially boxing Leroy Wright before his retirement? I don't know nothing about that. Side, they looking at the WBC sideways now. We beat crooks. That's it. What is the level of respect that people gonna have for the WBC? So you taking a hit and you taking an L against Terence Crawford because he's gonna be able to fight again. He's gonna be able to make a shitload of money again. You're not stopping nothing for him. You're not stopping him being able to get that bag. Now watch this. The hydro grind. This is a good one for you. I want you to respond to this. When we talk about Tank Davis, you put a lot of focus on, well, Tank Davis don't really care about titles. He about money. Tank Davis care about money. You support Tank Davis and you constantly say that he cares about his money. So now why would Terence Crawford, who made $100 million, who made all this money, you bring up the fact that, well, you know, history won't recognize him as undisputed, but the fans will. Why would you bring up that history won't recognize him as undisputed? Why are you putting that type of weight on the titles when for Tank Davis you don't do that? For Tank Davis, you say it's all about the money. But for Crawford, now you're recognizing titles. It's like Tank Davis fans don't recognize titles when it comes to Tank. Oh, yeah, Tank titles don't mean anything. Tank just out here to get his money. Okay, then, if that's how you feel about it, cool story. But now for Terence Crawford, you care about the sanctioning body. I'm not going to understand it. Never going to understand that switch of energy y'all be having. Shackle hands. He do so much for the all-retired boxer that all we hear is this money. How much does that goofball really be doing to help? All we hear is that fighters are broke. They don't got no money. They struggling. I want to see, at least show me a list of the people that Mauricio Sulaiman is supposedly helping out. Show me. We got another dummy on the scene. Another dummy getting straight to the black party. Daycare dummy. So again, my people, we got to take all of the facts into consideration. Will be Jay Smith. Now we need to see the WBC champion and trash can. Bro, whoever wins that title, that 168 title, I already got the memes inside my head. What I'm going to be doing is going to be the champion holding up a paper. You're a paper champion. Going to be holding up a paper like this. Every pitch I could get, remove the belt and put a paper. Here you go, paper champion. We know who the real champ at 168. Say whatever y'all want. We know what's going on. I want to punch Mauricio Sulaiman in the mouth. But I digress. That's not literally speaking, okay? Say no to violence. But figuratively speaking, I'm trying to knock his teeth out with that funny-ass smirk, with that botched surgery. Look at your face. Botched. Sad, did you see Garcia sleep pull him? I did not see it, bro. I saw the highlight. I didn't see the actual fight. My peoples, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to remind you that goofiest of the oofiest is going down tonight at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. Don't miss it. Don't miss it. Only on Box Center 2.0. You see it right there on the link. Subscribe to Box Center 2.0. And if you haven't seen Goofiest of the Oofiest, you're able to call in during the live. Whether you want to make a prediction, you want to trash talk, you want to go back and forth. We going in, my people. 6 p.m. Eastern Time. What's up? You ready for that smoke with Jay Smith? Tune in. Ladies and gentlemen, my peoples. If you missed it, Edwin de los Santos fought on Saturday, and it was a good fight. And when I say it was a good fight, it wasn't even competitive. I'm referring to what we expect from de los Santos. He had not been in the ring since fighting Shakur Stevenson, so some inactivity there. His comeback fight was like got a lower level opponent, got him out of there in the first round. Did exactly what he was supposed to do. Will be. Canelo needs to fight Big Charlo or David and right off. Crawford will KO him if they rematch. So Canelo is never going to fight David Benavidez. He's never going to make that fight. And if you think Terrence Crawford will KO him, try to imagine what David Benavidez does. If he fight David, and I said this before, if you fight the Mexican Monster, it'll be the first time that he gets stopped. And he's going to get stopped brutally. Because Canelo doesn't have the footwork. He's not going to be mobile enough and trying to get away from Benavidez. He's going to go down in his shield. And Benavidez is going to pummel him. That's why he never fought him before. And that's why I'm telling you, he's not going to fight him. He's not going to get that fight. I guess if Turkey tell him something crazy, yo, we're going to give you 500 million. We're going to give you 400. They got to give him something too crazy. We're going to say, okay, I'm going to get knocked out by Benavidez, man. That's too much money. I'm going to have to go to sleep. Shakur Hands. We got another document via Just Do from the former member of the WBC exposing their crooked ways. She also has a total of how much has been given out. And it's atrocious for the cornball goof. Oh, I share that document. I don't know if she worked with the WBC in the past. I actually share the document, and now I'm friends with that young lady on social media. So let me tell you what I remember from what she shared. The WBC has given out in the last, let's say 12 years, like $2 million to the fighters, right? But what she found is that in a fundraiser that the WBC did, remember, these are private donors. In a fundraiser, somebody donated $1.something million. This is real funny, and I'm explaining to you why. Imagine that you yourself are the WBC, and you're saying you're giving mad money to fighters. And in 10 years, you only gave $1 million. That's going to look like a little bit of money. But if somebody donate a whole other $1 million, now you can say, yo, we donated $2 million already. But they didn't donate no $2 million to the fighters. They only donated $1 million. And $1 million they raised in a private fundraiser event. That could even be one of Mauricio Sulaiman's friends. Put that $1 million up so we could say we got $2 million in there. That could be anybody. But that $1 million did not come from the sanctioning fees. From the sanctioning fees, Mauricio the Goofball Sulaiman has given the fighters like $1.5 million in the last 12 years. You have to understand that if he was giving 200,000, like he says he was gonna give out a Crawford's fee, 225,000, by now they would have given millions of dollars in the last 10 years. Imagine they giving 200,000 out of every Canelo fight. And out of every fight of every WBC champion. They would have given out millions in 10 years. Yet they only gave out $1 million. They giving out chump change, my peoples. Them people's putting towards that fund out of every fight, like $1,500, $2,000. Chump change. If you calculate the last 10 years of WBC fights, title fights, big fights, 10, 12 years, and all they got is $1 million something, bro, they giving chump change per fight. Show a list of the fighters who actually got benefited. Show a list. And I bet you, out of all the fighters that are retired that need money, it's probably two or three. Two or three are the ones they cool with. I wouldn't be surprised if the Mexican retired fighters are the ones that is getting the most money. The way he moving. Trying to get the belt right back to Canelo. But that money is crazy the way that they operating. They moving like the mob, yo. They moving like, yo, give us the money and don't worry. We said we giving it to the fighters. You don't need to see no receipts. You don't need to know how much we give out. We giving out. Okay, well, tell me how much. Mauricio Sulaiman is starting to look like them crooked pastors. You know the crooked pastor that they take all that collection, but when a light bulb break in the church, they need to collect money because there ain't no money for the light bulb. We need to make a collection. God damn, how about all that money we've been giving out? Nah, the money, you know, I didn't use it to buy that new Lexus that I got outside. Don't get it twisted. But the money's not for that. That's how Mauricio Sulaiman looking out there. Will be WBC is just like the Goodwill. Don't give out nothing. Take your money and go on vacation. That's how they get down. And it's crazy because if you Google Mauricio Sulaiman's net worth, you can't even get a number. Google will tell you, nah, we don't know. Nobody knows. He make a lot of money and that's all we know. Gay Rivera, what's up, my brother? Even Google can't tell you how much money Mauricio Sulaiman got. This dude operate like the mafia, bro. Operating his family business, the WBC. So that's why I'm telling you, they put a horrible spotlight on themselves. Shouldn't have did it. You fucked up. My peoples. Another fight that happened, I told you about Edwin de los Santos. This fight also took place this weekend. Erik, Mini-Pacman, Rosa. And he fought this young man from Mexico, De La Mora. And my people, this fight was crazy. This fight was crazy. I'm disappointed the way that it played out. Erik Mini-Pacman Rosa, he's a former world champion. He was actually unbeaten, and he lost his title about 5-6 months ago in Japan. So this is his first fight back. And obviously, you know, Dominican, fighting in the Dominican Republic, so I'm rooting for him. The Mexican guy that he fought, I never heard of him. 18 years old, had a record like 5-0, something like that. So my expectation was that Mini-Pacman was going to handle business. And that's not the way the fight played out. The fight, you know, we was all watching in shock. This Mexican kid, only 18 years old, put all type of hands on the champion. And I hate to tell you guys this because this is my guy. This is who I wanted to win. He walked out of there with the unanimous decision. This is probably the most disgusting, nasty scorecards that I ever seen in my life. Nasty work, my peoples. When they look, the fight happened here in Dominican Republic. He's the local fighter from here. And when he was announced the winner, the crowd started booing. The Dominican crowd started booing. I saw people from Mexico saying, yo, I respect the Dominican fans. Because they didn't even cheer for their guy. They saw what happened. I watched this kid crying his eyeballs out. I watched, the crowd chanting his name. And that's just the way the cookie crumbled. Mini-Pacman got the W, but we walked out of there feeling like this kid got robbed. And you hate to say it because I'm rooting for him. That's my guy. We in the Dominican Republic. That's where everybody wants to win. But goddamn, those scorecards was nasty. Nasty work, my peoples. 310, man, Ruth. TKO. Woo. TKO's going to take over. That's it. The WBC put the nail in the coffin when they decided to strip Terrence Crawford. TKO's on the way, my peoples. Mauricio Sulaiman gave him a little alley-oop. Alley-oop. Now Dana, Turkey, TKO, Zoo for boxing, they're going to go like that. Take that alley-oop. Bam. Slam dunk it. A slammer-jammer. Interesting weekend of boxing, my peoples. Interesting fights. We saw Scott Nicholson. Man, where's my images at, man? I'm all over the place over here. We saw Scott Nicholson do her thing. Of course. I'm going to get it for you. Wait for me over there. My peoples, I'm going to take a 30-second commercial break. First of all, let me say shout out to everybody who tuning in. Hope you guys enjoying this episode of Boxing for Breakfast. I'm going to take a quick 30-second break, get my son some breakfast, and I'll be right back, my people. We talking boxing. Y'all know how we doing it. Be right back. My peoples. My people, salute to everybody tuning in. Y'all know what it is. We talking boxing. This is another episode of Boxing Breakfast. And let me remind y'all, subscribe to Box Center 2.0. Goofiest of the oofiest goes down tonight at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. You don't want to miss it. We're going to be talking about the goofiest of the oofiest. Goofy ass fans that don't know shit about boxing. Goofy ass sanctioning body that don't know what the hell they doing. They greedy. They crooks. Goofy ass fighters who be ducking opponents. We gotta talk about that too. We about this action. um, so they announced that we might get, or that looks like they working on it, Anthony Joshua versus Tyson Fury. My people's long overdue. This is a fight that we've been wanting to watch. This is a fight that we was calling for. And I know that there's going to be a lot of fans saying this is too late. They should have fought a long time ago. People will even say, no, I don't want to watch this, or it doesn't make sense. But guess what? We're all going to tune in. We're all going to watch. I still want to see this fight and who wins. And of course, if it's going to happen and it's going to happen next year, I'm looking forward to it. Will be. Why Wilder is now a tune-up fighter? I mean, I don't understand what's the fight between him and Usyk. I just don't understand it. I don't see why Usyk will call out Wilder, being that Wilder hasn't been a champion in years at this point. He hasn't had a significant win in years at this point. So why would an undisputed champion, even if they stripped him, but we all know Usyk is the legit undisputed champion in the heavyweight division, why would he call out Wilder? To me, that just doesn't make any sense. But I don't know. Somebody suggested to me that maybe Wilder's already close to retiring, so is Usyk, and Usyk want to bless him. I don't know, though, because to me, my perception is that Wilder got money that he don't know what to do with it. And if that's the case, he don't need to be blessed. He got it like that. But honestly, that's not a fight I would have called for, or I'm really interested in. But if they fight, I'm going to watch. Of course, I'm going to watch. I don't expect Wilder to be able to beat Fury, that's for sure. That's just me. Will be. I don't want to see AJ fight nobody but Wilder. That's a fight, man, that has been brewing for so long. Just like this one. You know, we wanted AJ and Fury to fight each other for years. And it, for whatever reason, it just couldn't happen. And with AJ's the same thing. Couldn't happen. In fact, remember, they both fought on the same card. And then after that, they were supposed to fight each other. But Wilder lost. I don't know if it was on the same card. I know that Wilder was supposed to fight Big Bang Zan, win that fight, and then fight AJ, and he lost. So that's it. No AJ. So we could have got that before. Didn't work out. Let's see. You imagine if Wilder beat Usyk and become a champion again? That would be crazy. But the odds are against it, man. And I'm going to be honest. Yeah, I thought it was on the same card. And I'm going to be honest, my peoples. I just don't see Deontay Wilder becoming a champion again. You know, with the losses that he's taken, the type of beatings that he's taken, that, you know, he's been stopped multiple times. And I just don't see it. I don't see it. I think, because you got to remember, Wilder's a fighter who relied a lot on his power. But he didn't just have the power. You need to have the punch placement and the coordination and the speed to land that punch precisely when you need it to land to sleep your opponent. People underestimate that. People underestimate the mechanics, the hand-eye coordination, what it takes. Landing one of those punches and knocking somebody out with one shot, it takes a certain level of skill. It doesn't just take power. Because you see guys who have a lot of power, but they can't land that shot. You ain't landing it. And Wilder had or has the skill to land those shots. But now, as he has gotten older, taken a few L's, more battle worn, he's struggling. He's struggling in there. So I don't see him becoming a world champion again. But you never know. We didn't see George Foreman becoming a champion when he did. We didn't see a lot of people becoming a champion when they did. So I'm not going to knock Wilder. I'm not going to say that Wilder, it's impossible for him to do it. But for me, the odds are against it. I don't see it happening. I just don't see it. Especially with the losses that he has taken. I don't see it. And if I'm not mistaken, Wilder is either... Matter of fact, I'm not going to guess. I was about to guess Deontay Wilder, but you guys know me. You know I fact check myself. Just like I can fact check you, I fact check myself. Wow, Deontay Wilder. There you go. 40 years old. Deontay Wilder is 40 years old. In the heavyweight division, George Foreman already showed us that you can win late, especially if you have that power. Now he's 40. I already Googled it. You can win late if you have the power. But I don't think Deontay Wilder, I think he's slowed down just enough for people to outbox him and stay away from his power. Or even if you catch me with your power, you're not going to knock me out. By the way, my peoples, let me give y'all the good news. We got to talk about good things too, right? So you guys know that I got 2 YouTube strikes. Because of those YouTube strikes, I've been shadow banned for the last month. And even being shadow banned, people still joining the show, people still coming through, people still showing love. You guys are still finding me. I got 2 YouTube strikes, my peoples. One more, the whole channel get canceled, right? One of the 2 strikes that I have is going to expire in 3 days. That means that now I'm going to have only 1 strike. It should mean that the channel's going to open up a little bit more for people to have access, to actually see what the hell's going on over here. Because we number 1, it's just that people don't know it. We the best. Don't get it twisted, my people. But they're going to find out. The point is, one of my 2 strikes is going to expire in a couple of days. And the second strike is going to expire on January 28th. 3 days before Teofimo Lopez and Shakur Stevenson face each other. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. So the super chat, my peoples, salute to those who always show love on the super chat. If you see that the super chat is available, it's because of that. 1 strike is about to expire, and the other strike next month is going to be out of here, my people. So Jay Smith is about to unleash on these YouTube streets in 2026. We've been shadow banned for 3 months, but it's about to be a wrap. Shackle hands. That's that good money. But you got these golf balls. Mob TV, quick question. You Cuban? I'm not Cuban, my brother. I'm Dominican. Northside. Why they shadow ban you? Man, so this shadow ban happened for 2 reasons. The first strike, because remember when Terence Crawford beat Canelo? The next day, I did the fight again, and I broadcasted it so that people could see it again. I didn't know. I thought that Netflix doesn't allow you to stream live. I understand that. But I didn't know that I could stream it on a different day either. So I tried to stream the fight, so we could enjoy it again. We did enjoy it. We watched the fight the next day, and we watched the fight the day after that again. All good. We was talking about it, having a good time. Yo, like 3 days later, 2 strikes at the same time I caught. Bam, bam. Netflix pulled both of those fights down. I got the email saying that Netflix gave me the copyright strike because I used their live feed. So I called 2 strikes in one shot. Then I sent them an email and they removed 1 of the 2 strikes. So I just had 1. But a few days later, yo, I used the clip that I got from somebody else's YouTube video. I saw a YouTube video that was showing a fight, right? I took a clip of that fight and I attached it to one of my videos because I was calling that same fight. Yo, I got a strike for using the Zone's content. So I got 1 strike from Netflix and 1 strike from the Zone. They both pulled down the videos. So I've been shadow banned, yo, for 2 months. Because I got a shadow ban and then I caught another one. Another strike. So that's why you see 15 people, 20 people, 20-something people. Before this strike, it was already 180 people up in here, 150 people. And then that shit was crazy. When I caught the first strike, the day before on this live, it was like 180 people. The next day, yo, it never was more than 5, 6 people in the live at the same time. 4, 3, 5. People hitting me up like, yo, you're not doing the show today? I'm like, what you talking about? I'm live right now. What are you talking about? I'm not doing the show. It's going down right now. Yo, I can't find you, bro. I can't find you. That's how I realized that I was shadow banned. I couldn't find the show, that if I'm not doing it anymore, I'm like, bro, what are you talking about? Shadow banned, bro. And I've been So what I realized, when you're shadow banned, it's almost like they close the faucet, right? So there's no water at all. And as you start getting closer to the shadow ban time ending, it's like they start opening it. And now you see little drops coming out. Bang, bang, bang. And then they open it a little bit more. Before you know it, they open up the floodgates. Shaku Aaron's hating on my boy Jay Smith. Good content. Bro, listen, that's another thing that I got. That's how I knew, my peoples, that we was going to get far. When I started getting haters, I'm like, damn, I'm not even famous. How you got haters when you're not even famous? I don't even understand that. Okay. But a lot of haters, my peoples, reporting this channel like crazy. That's part of the reason why I got shadow banned too. Mad people reporting. And it's funny because I saw somebody post a message on a Facebook group. And he said, yo, Jay think he could mess with me. I'ma send his ass to the shadow realm. I'm like, damn. I don't even know this guy. I don't know how he know me. And I think maybe because I'll say that I'm the best, or I'll say that I'm going to be #1, that could rub people the wrong way. Oh, no, Canelo fans went in on me too, man. Yo, ooh. After the fight, yo, a bunch of people even unsubscribed from the channel. And I'm like, come on, man, that's corny. Because I'm going to tell you guys something. What makes a good conversation is that we disagree with each other. That's what makes it a good conversation. If we all have the same opinion, this show would be over in 15 minutes. Yo, Crawford is the best. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, word. Yeah, he's the best. Hey, Shakur is the best. You're right, man. Shakur definitely the best. Man, Tank Davis needs to fight the best. You're right, too. God damn, y'all agree with me on everything. The show is over, my peoples. Peace out. We did what we had to do. So disagreeing, a different opinion, is what make the conversation interesting. Boxing for breakfast is what it is because of you guys. That's what it's about. It's about what you guys bring to the table. If everybody had the same opinion, that's why, yo, I don't like it when someone just want to agree with me. Don't show up over here just wanting to agree with me so I can be like, oh, you see, he agree with me. Nah, if you agree with me, you agree. If you don't, let's argue, my nigga. That's what we doing out here. My peoples, I want to give a shout out to everybody who tuned in for this episode of Boxing for Breakfast. Shaku Hands was in the building. Northside was still in the building. Wilby, Scott Fernie. What's up, Scott Fernie? I didn't even read your message. What you got to say to us, my brother? What up, though, Boxing Hands? What about Russell versus Haddad? You haven't seen no channels talking about that fight. Oh, wait a minute, bro. Wait a minute. Go back to the time of that fight, and you're going to find out that I was talking about that fight before it happened. I called that fight live, and I was talking about it the following day. So I know there's channels that didn't give it the attention that it deserved, but I did, my brother. I was definitely talking about it. For sure. For sure, my people. We got another dummy in the building. You a dummy. Wasted all this time to chat and say that, dummy. Marie, I'm in the building too, but just listening. Salute, Marie. I appreciate you, man. And everybody else who tuned in. Moby TV was in the building. Sai was in the building. Shaku Hands. The Hydra Grind with his sneak hating on Terrence Crawford. 310 Man Ruth. Out here promoting TKO. Victor J. Victor J asked a question and I missed it. Who's the goofy oofy of 2025? I nominate Keyshawn Davis. Damn, why you nominating Keyshawn Davis for not making weight? For not making weight? Come on now. Nah, look, let me tell you. The goofiest of the oofiest of the whole year 2025 is going to be announced. I'm going to tell you when. Hold on. On the 29th. Monday, December 29th, you're going to find out who won the prestigious award of goofiest of the oofiest of 2025. But I got to tell you the nominees, right? So tonight, I'm going to tell you who the nominees are. We got multiple people that got nominated for this prestigious award. That's all I can tell you. But again, my peoples, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of Boxing for Breakfast. This is for you. It's for you, my peoples. Happy Monday. Enjoy the rest of your day. I appreciate you tuning in. Don't miss out on Goofiest of the Oofiest at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. Check out the link right there, my people. Subscribe to Box Center 2.0. Remember that Goofiest of the Oofiest only goes down on Box Center 2.0. Gangster. Bro, have you competed in boxing before? Facts, my brother. That is correct. Competed as an amateur boxer in New York. Somebody asked me if I'm from New York. Yes, my guy. I am. Well, I'm not from, but I grew up in New York City. So I competed as an amateur boxer. I trained in Gleason's gym and had a lot of great opportunity experiences. But I'm an old man. I'm 47 years old. I competed in 1998, 1999. Very long time ago. My peoples, I'm getting the hell out of here. Enjoy the rest of your day. Let's go get this money, man. I got to go to work. I got to get this money, my people. You go get your money. I go get my money. And we get together tonight on Goofiest of the Oofiest. Peace.